Hello. Welcome back to another episode of Not Just Revenue. If you're watching the video version, first of all, apologies for the background. Gosh, I normally blur that, don't I? Let's blur that. And then I was going to say, I'm wearing a bright blue shirt, and I'm like, when people do like colour analysis, I think this might be my colour. I'm like looking at myself, I'm like, this might be my colour. Okay, well, that's a revelation. That's today's revelation. So, this episode, I very, very quickly decided that I was going to do this episode. And that's because I'm actually off to Atomicon today. So if you are also going to Atomicon, say hello, because this will probably be published like this morning. So while I'm on the train up. So if you are also traveling and you happen to listen to my podcast on the way to Atomicon, tell me, 'cause that's pretty cool. But if you don't know, Atomicon is a marketing conference in the UK. It's in Newcastle. It's once a year, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty fun. It's just good vibes, honestly, and I see it as more of a chance to not even necessarily network. I don't see it as business development because a lot of the stuff I know anyway. We all know this stuff, right? We're just not fucking doing it. I learned that last year was I know all this stuff. I just need to actually do the do. Secondly, I don't see it as networking because I actually, despite being I feel like I'm quite a loud personality. Me and my son are very similar. You just had that realization, like, oh my God. I'm quite a loud personality, but I'm actually extremely socially anxious. So I will not be speaking to new people unless I am introduced by someone I already know. So there's that. I'm going off on my own, which means I'm basically just going to bump into people I know and like just talk to them. So actually, the way I'm seeing this is more of a chance for me to just go and talk with other human beings who are in business, who are in this world, and like talk to my business friends and all of that. And actually, part of what I mentioned in why I love Atomicon, but I don't see it as a business or personal development event, that's what I want to talk to you about this episode on. And that is that, do you actually have a marketing problem? Do you legitimately have a marketing problem? Do you legitimately don't know how to market? Or is it something else going on in your business? And that is what I want to talk about today. The reason I say this is because obviously we've got these huge events like Atomicon that's all it's marketing. Like it is positioned as a marketing conference. I feel at the moment content strategists and everyone's having this big up. I don't know, I feel like everyone and their mum's a content strategist now and like doing really well. So, I mean, pop off queens. But I don't think you need a new content strategy. I don't think you need help with your marketing, not in the way that you think that you do. I'm not saying that marketing isn't important. Marketing is incredibly important. But marketing is the bit that comes at the end. Okay? Marketing is the bit that comes at the end of the strategy. And right now, I think people are treating marketing as if it is the be-all and end-all of their business. Like their business is just marketing. And it's really interesting, actually, because I saw a thread earlier today, and it was someone who was breaking down what is in a business. And it was like really visually pleasing, actually. There was basically like folders and then just like what is within the folder, and the overarching thing was like a brand and then everything else underneath it, and I found it really interesting. And the whole point was about how like when people say they need help with their marketing, it's like, well, which part of marketing, because it's so all encompassing. But I actually disagree with what they put, because like I said, they put finance, they put business strategy and all of that like under brand, and I'm just like, no, like in my opinion, do I think brand is like foundational? Absolutely. Absolutely. But finance is more like before that. And then you're like, Emily, I thought you weren't a money coach anymore. And I'm like, girl, I'm not a fucking money coach anymore. But business strategy, finance. Revenue strategy, finance. Sales strategy, finance. It's all fucking money, right? Business is money. That's ultimately why I decided to move away from calling myself a money coach and more towards this more like general business strategist, which I know puts me in this world of sea of same, because everyone and their mum's a business strategist, but everyone and their mum's a fucking business strategist, but actually what they mean is they're a marketing strategist. Okay? No one is out here helping you with your finances in your business. No one's out there doing it. Okay? There are accountants, that they are not also trained, they are not also expert in all the other areas of business, including brand and marketing and operations and all of that. But I am, okay? To be in the full package. Anyway, I digress. I don't just want to hype myself up here. Marketing, finance. Okay, so this is what is happening. This is what I see, and I'm willing to bet this is what you're doing. You have an offer, okay? Or, you need help with your offer. You do work around your offer. You're like, what is the problem that I'm solving? How do I solve it? You package it really nicely into like, come up with me one-to-one or come to this group program or this is my service, whatever it might be, okay? You have an offer or a product, whatever it might be. You go, I need to get the product out into the world in front of the people that need it to make money, to make the sales, which equals money, okay? So we go offer, so we go kind of like brand, offer into marketing, into sales, into money, right? And the money you go, great, taxes, everything else. Now, by now, I like to flip that, okay? We do a full 180, baby. Yes, I am not singing that song in my head and I have to try really hard not to just sing out loud right now. There's no point. There's absolutely, like, all of that. Just don't bother. Do not waste your time. Please stop wasting your time doing all of that. Because the way you're doing it means that you're kind of throwing spaghetti at the walls, right? All of this is throwing, like, all of that process from brand, offer, marketing, sales, all of that process was for the money. Yes, like, we are all doing this for the money. Like, even I was having this conversation with my partner yesterday, even non-profits are for profit. Like, they have money. Non-profit, like, obviously not all non-profits, and yes, we should absolutely give to charity, but even non-profits are for profit because they have CEOs and they have management and they have everyone else that they pay. And on some very good salaries, might I add. Side note. So it's all for the money. At the end of the day, you've got bills to pay. It's for the money. And there's nothing wrong with that, and I want you to fucking own that. I want you to own, I am in business to make money. I am in business to not just pay my bills, but to live my damn life. Okay? I want you to fucking own that. But if you want the money, if it's all about the money, why the fuck are you starting with marketing? Why the fuck are you worried about what your social media strategy is? If you do not know how much money you need to be making, if you do not know how many sales you need to be making in order to get that money, there's no point doing your marketing. Because let me give you another way of doing things, right? I'm just going to pull some numbers out of thin air, but just as an example to show you how this works. So let's say I wanted to make £100,000 this year. Let's say I wanted to make 6 figures, the holy grail, 100k. First of all, I need to think, do I want to make 100k or do I want the business to make 100k? Because that's a really important difference, okay? Because me getting 100k in my pockets means I need a hell of a lot more money in my business to be able to afford that, okay? Because we've got taxes, right? At that rate, we've got higher income tax brackets, we've got VAT, right? We've got all the other costs. You might have to scale your team, you might have to invest more in marketing, like, there are a lot more costs involved in growing to that level of income. Nothing wrong with wanting that level of income, like, all for it. Like, let's get you there. But I need to know what's the difference. Okay, so let's say I decide, okay, I want to take home pay of 50k and I want to make 100k in my business. And that leaves me with, that's money for tax and VAT and expenses and a bit of a buffer. Let's say I've done the maths, 100k, take home half of it. Okay, if I was to start with the offer and be like, I've got this offer, let me try and do some marketing and make some sales and hope I've got enough money, I would already be on the bottom foot. Okay, I'd already be 5 steps behind. But instead I've got, okay, I need my business to make 100k in 12 months. Then I look at the offer. Okay, because now I need to look at my offers and my pricing and how I'm packaging those offers, the audience that I've got as well. I can't just make up an offer, throw it into the world and go, hope that it sells. No, we need to know, like, if I have an audience, like, if this is an already established business, I need to be responsive to the audience that I have, or I need to be willing to grow a new audience. I need to be willing to put in the effort and put in the work to get the audience that I want, that is going to want to need this offer. Okay. And this is something that I myself have done before and I have struggled with, where I was trying to sell to a multi-six-figure business owner, but I didn't have those people in my audience. And so I had two choices. One is to change my audience, to focus more on attracting those high six-figure earners, or to shift my offers and my positioning to speak more to the earlier stage business owners. Guess what I fucking did? You probably know, because momentum is for consistent podcast. I decided to go the easy route, which is go, well, I've got this audience already. Like, I have a really good audience. I've got 5K followers on Instagram. I've got 1K on my email list. I've got 2K on Threads. Like, people are there, right? People are there. I've got, a decent amount of people that listen to my podcast. And so people are there. Okay, so I've got my revenue goal. I know what my audience is. I know let's say market research. What are their problems? What are their desires? How can I help them get to where they want to be? What is my special sauce? Because their problem, everyone's problem, ultimately comes down to health, wealth, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. What was it? Health, wealth, and relationships, I think, is like the main three. So everything's going to come down to one of those three. I literally forgot what I was saying. God, I fucking love having ADHD. So their problem and their desire is going to relate to health, wealth, relationships. And so what I can now do is I go, how can I help with that? What is it that I do that helps them achieve that, gets them closer to that, speeds up the results of that, whatever that might be? So obviously for me, I'm like, right, okay, they want more money. That's wealth. They want to spend more time with their family, which is relationships. And they also don't want to burn out doing it. That's health. So I kind of, the trifecta, baby. I gotta help all three. Great. But I'm thinking, okay, how do I do that? And ultimately, you then, you write down, how do you help someone do that? And blah, 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 blah. You created your offer and you've got your messaging all in one, right? I didn't need a separate messaging person. I didn't need a separate, of course, hiring people in their specialisms is really important. I'm not saying like you should try and do it all yourself, but I'm saying you can get a lot of the answers that you need from your audience because they will tell you. Put out a market research form, do some market research questions, host a roundtable. Your audience will tell you what they need, what they're struggling with, what they've tried. They will tell you everything. That is your messaging. Tick. Next, you package your offer. You've got your messaging for your offer. Great. So now we've got a revenue goal, we've got an offer, and we know what the problem it's solving. We know how we're solving it. We need to put a price on it. Pricing is like its own little thing, and I'm actually going to be releasing a little like mini course on pricing. So watch this space, because pricing, we need to take into account the transformation that you provide. Absolutely. Obviously, your time, your expertise, your knowledge, like all of that. The benefit of the transformation that you provide. So obviously, if you help speed up someone's results, if you help them make an extra, whatever it might be. And there's also what your audience can afford. Okay, what, like, realistically at the stage of business they're in, what can they afford? And also, going back to that revenue goal, how much money do you want to make? So let's say we've done all this, okay, we've done all this, and we've got to I'm literally going to pull numbers out my bum right now. Let's say you come up with a 6-month one-to-one offer, it's 5K. Let me just get my phone and run this little calculation. Okay, so I want to make £100,000 and I have an offer which is £5,000. So I'm going to do £100,000 divided by £5,000, which is 20. Okay. So I would need 20 clients over a year at 5K to make 100K. Straight away, I'm like, that is not too bad. Okay. And I'm using my own evidence. In every year that I've been in business, I've helped, when I was primarily one-to-one, I had 25 one-to-one clients in my first year. And then in my second year, I had a lot less. In my second year, I had like 10 one-to-one clients, but 10, 15, even still, like, and I wasn't promoting it. So even so, I'm like, okay, well, 20, that's totally doable. As long as the pricing is positioned right with speaking to the audience's problems, and I know the audience, are at a level where they can afford that and it makes sense. Okay, that's the maths done. Now, actually, it's not the maths done. Unfortunately, business is just the maths, and I hate that. Don't believe me. I need to make 20 sales. Great. Okay, now I want to look at my audience size and I want to look at my past conversion rates if I have that data. Okay, if this is a new business, new offer, like you pivoted, anything like that, we kind of want to start afresh and we want to use kind of some industry benchmarks. But if you have the past data and you've run similar offers before, then you can go and use that past data. Okay, let's say I have a 2% conversion rate, which is, I want to say, pretty standard. So if I convert 2% of my audience and I need 20 people, stand by because I can't do that maths in my head. Okay. The maths is you need 1,000 people, right? So if you have 1,000 Instagram followers right now, you could do that. If you have 1,000 people on your email list, you could do that, right? You need 20 people, okay, to say yes. 20 people to pay you. So if we have an audience of 1,000 people, that's the maths, okay? So once we've done the numbers, which I know I hate it too, but once I've done the numbers and I go, right, I need 1,000 people, and I had to convert them to 2%. This is when I need to be on top of that. You always need to be on top of the data. But so much of business is actually just data. And I hope this is what this podcast episode is helping you understand, that it is not about marketing. It's not about messaging. That is just one piece of the puzzle. And actually it is all about the data, because now I know I need 20 people to say yes. Let's assume a 2% conversion rate. Great. I need an audience of 1,000 people and I need to convert them at 2%. So if I don't have 1,000 people, that's problem one, okay? And I know straight away I need to work on audience growth. So then I can go down the audience growth route. And that is, yes, content strategy and marketing, and absolutely. But marketing's right at the end, okay? I need this many people. Great, marketing. Also, I need to convert this many people. So if I do have 1,000 people, or if I have more than 1,000 people and I'm not converting them, and I know that they're the right people, this is really important, because if you've got an audience of 20,000, but only 2,000 of them are the right audience, well, the other 18K can go do one, all right? I don't give a shit about your audience size. I've done this before. I've had the 25,000 audience, okay? I've had the 2,500 people on my email list, and I was making less money than I am now, because it's not about the number. It's about, are they the right people? And I need 1,000 of the right people. So let's say I've now got 1,000 of the right people, okay? But I'm not converting them at the 2% that I want, okay? 2 things I can now do. 1, grow a bigger audience and convert a smaller percentage. Number 2, focus on increasing conversions. Okay. There's no right or wrong. There's a billion different ways to do business, but that would be your focus. And of course, marketing is what helps you do both of those things, really. It's what helps you grow the audience, and it's what helps you convert the audience. But also sales, like sales skills. And this also kind of comes within the messaging as well. Like that is all part of sales, which is almost like marketing is part of sales, but sales is almost or is sales a part of marketing? Oh, it's like a whole thing. Basically, I want you to see them as separate. So you've got your marketing is helping you kind of grow your audience, grow awareness for the offer, make people always want the offer. And then the sales bit is when you go, okay, you're now going to pay me for this offer. So notice how right at the end, marketing was right there, but we had to start with the numbers. How much money do I want to make? Why do I want to make that much money? Okay, now I go to how do I make that much money? Okay, what is the offer that I solve? Okay, what can I realistically price that at based on my revenue goal, my capacity, my audience, and also the value of the problem that I'm solving? Then I go into, okay, what is my data? What are my business data? What are my conversion rates? What's my audience size? Like all of those things. And then, only then do I go into the marketing. So really, I want you to ask yourself, do I have a problem with my marketing? Or is it something underneath all of that? Is it that my offer isn't right for the audience I have? Is it that the price is unaligned for the audience that I have? Is it that the price is never going to get me to the revenue goal that I want? Is the revenue goal that I'm aiming for even realistic? Do I know that that's going to make me what I need to pay myself? Am I managing the money that comes in a way that allows me to have the capacity to sell at the scale in which I want to sell? There is so much that comes underneath the marketing, right? And this is what I now help with, okay? I want to help you with your business as a whole, and I want it to be incredibly holistic, okay? I'm willing to bet you cash money that you have hired business coaches in the past, you've hired business strategists in the past, and they have just been marketing mentors. And now there is nothing wrong with that, okay? But that is such a small part of business, okay? Everything else that comes before is so, so important. So this is how I help you. I help you by we set the financial foundations first, okay? Month 1, that is what we do. We make sure that your business finances and your personal finances are organized and flowing nicely, because I want you to maximize the money that you're already making now, okay? There would be no point, in fact, it would be irresponsible of me to help you make more money if it's just going to go through a leaky fucking sieve, right? Okay, if it's just going to go through a leaky fucking business and a leaky fucking personal finances, there's no point in me helping you make more money. Okay, so first of all, I need to know that it's going to stick. And so we use the tried and tested method that I have been using for over 6 years with thousands of clients at this point. Okay, it's tried, it's tested, it works. Okay, so we do that first. In that, we also calculate your revenue goal, and we do the maths on how do I hit the revenue goal with the offers and the audience that I have. We work that out. And then going into kind of month 2 and onwards, that is when we start to work out kind of more of the business foundation. So obviously looking at your offer, can your offer hit that income goal, and all of those things that I've just spoken about in this episode. And then kind of go towards, okay, now I'm marketing it, now I'm putting it out into the world. How is that being received? What can we learn from the data? And literally everything is data, right? How many saves an Instagram post gets, how many clicks to your bio, how many page visits you get. Like all of this is all data that we can read to then make better decisions in business to get the results that we want. Okay, this is why I now preach about predictable income, because while income can be inconsistent, that just is the nature of business, we can make it relatively predictable because we can look at the data. We can look at what the numbers are telling us. And I know that most people hate numbers in business, but thankfully, you're going to hire me and I'm going to help you with them. Okay? I am going to help you understand your numbers. Now, I cannot do mental maths to save my life. Literally, if I was held at gunpoint and it was like, answer this in like 2 seconds, what's 7 plus 9? I'd be like, she's out. Okay? Literally, mental maths, I go a blank. But maybe it's the neuro spice, but patterns in numbers. Oh, now girl, now we're talking. I can help you. And this is what I love to do. As you can probably tell by this podcast episode, like, this shit lights me up. So if any of this has resonated with you, if you were like, shit, Neil, right, I actually really do need to like strip it all back, go back to like, what do I need to make, and use the data to make these informed decisions, and so I can have that more predictable income, I want to invite you to join me inside Momentum. Now, for the month of June, I currently have 3 spots available. I would love for you to join me. I'm going to put the link in the notes for this podcast episode, and you can apply today. Like I said, there's only 3 spots at the moment. When you apply, you essentially reserve one of those spots. So even if you don't end up working with me, which is absolutely fine, because either, you can do an application and go, I'm not really sure, let's have a chat. You can book a discovery call. We can have a conversation. I'm not in the nature of like, if it's not the right fit for you, I'm going to tell you, because it doesn't benefit either of us if, it just doesn't work. So I will help you do that. I will help you work it out. And I would love to help you get to feeling more safe in your business and safe in your finances, because you know how to manage your money, but also you know how you're going to make more money as well. So that's my invitation. And if not, I will see you at Atomicon later tomorrow. Right. Bye.